Hi, everybody. I'm Ed Meidenbauer, Director of Video Media at American Psychological Association. I've been working in video for 13 years now, and I've been in publishing about twice as long. Started out in book publishing and moved into video. And at APA, the video program is actually very much connected to the book publishing program, so it's not as strange as it sounds. So I'm going to talk about a case study of video in scholarly publishing, namely at APA. As Sam was saying earlier, one use of video is just to simply communicate information. It's another way of getting across scholarly information, similar journal articles, books. So in one sense, it could be seen as similar to conference presentations, lectures. These are other ways of communicating information. But video is more than another way of doing that. There's some types of information that it's better to communicate through video than by other means, and that includes live presentations. Video captures things that happen over time. It's a simple statement, but it speaks to the power of video. And one reason I think video has risen as a popular medium in scholarly publishing is it really meets a basic human need. There's a need not only to see things and hear things, but to see the people that are communicating. And I think it's more than just simply looking in their eyes and seeing whether they know what they're talking about. There's something about seeing people demonstrate what they're doing in real time, as Sam was saying, people doing things with their hands. It's a powerful way of education, or educating people and telling them what they're doing, or rather showing what you know how to do. So in terms of scholarly publishing, video augments and enhances other types of media. In the field of psychology, video has a long history, going back to the early days of film. And I think it's one reason that APA's own video program has been a success. It was sort of a fertile field to get into video publishing. Psychologists have been using film, at least, as a tool to record data since the 30s. It goes back to psychologists at that time using film to record human movement, expressions of babies' faces. There are actual films of this. Or videos of animals and insects being behaviorally conditioned. In the 40s or 50s, psychotherapists, a few of them, started using film to record their own sessions. It wasn't meant as a replacement for note-taking, the classic image of a therapist with their notepad writing down what the client's saying. But it was meant as sort of to augment that, because as you might imagine, focusing on your note-taking, you may miss something that the client's doing, facial expression or a little tick when they start talking about something. So this turned rather simply to film being used as a way to train psychotherapists. The psychotherapists I mentioned that were recording their own sessions pretty soon realized, okay, I could show some great snippets of what I did with this client. It'll be a good way to train a psychotherapist. So soon they were using them in training and teaching. And this solved an interesting problem because unlike training in medicine, where you could sit in the same room as a doctor and watch what they're doing, you could picture the classic surgical theater watching a surgeon working on a anesthetized patient. Psychotherapy is sitting in the room with the therapist and the client. It influences what's going on. So film resolved this kind of problem of being an observer and affecting what's happening. You can put a camera in the corner of the room and unobtrusively record the session and show it later to students. In 1960s, I think it was 63, Everett Shostrom recorded what became famously the first kind of mass-produced and mass-shown film of psychotherapy. It was 3 approaches to psychotherapy, and it sort of got the ball rolling in terms of producing and marketing videos that would educate students in clinical psychology about what therapy was all about. About 30 years later, APA got started. 1994, we started our program with 24 videos in psychotherapy, of psychotherapy demonstrations. And the videos at the time featured actors as the clients, but as opposed to volunteers coming in, as in the original Three Approaches video. But even though we were not the first to do this and we used actors, we were the first to do so systematically. We had 24 videos with very different approaches, very different populations, and they became very popular quickly because we were the first to really do this. And they've been used ever since in teaching and training psychotherapy. So just to give you a sense of some of the programs we have, I have a brief snippet of
That's such a hard
some of our
thing for
videos.
me to gauge. Like, I think a lot about, and I think that's something that really attracted me to this work and this style in particular. Like what Rollo May would say about like the client's life being at stake.
Yes.
That is intensely personal and important, and this way of engaging and approaching the client, saying this is not a set of symptoms that we're working with. This is not whatever. This is your life.
Yeah.
And there's
Be some questions about EFT. I'm sure some of you may have heard of it, maybe not, but where would you like to start?
Well, Jean, how do you describe your approach to working with clients in therapy?
That's a very good question. EFT has evolved over a number of years, and it integrates client-centered relationship conditions and client-centered thinking with experiential thinking, as well as some Gestalt intervention.
That's where I am intellectually, but how, I'm wondering how I really am inside if I am feeling these blocks. Yeah.
So anyway, just a few examples of what we do. The first one was not from the psychotherapy series. We have a series on psychotherapy supervision, but the other two are from our psychotherapy videos. So we have two primary products at APA. The one is our individual titles, which I've been talking about. The APA Psychotherapy video series is the main product. We have about 270 titles in that series now. And we also have a few smaller series. There's the supervision series I mentioned, as well as an assessment and testing series that we've just started. In addition, we have our collection of videos, Psychotherapy, which is an online database of streaming psychotherapy demonstrations. So I want to talk a little bit about how we made the leap into streaming video. This was driven in part, strangely enough, by the quantity of material that we had. As I mentioned, in the 90s, we used actors for our videos. Around 2002, we started using volunteer participants. We'd ask people to come in and talk to the therapist as a demonstration for psychotherapy or what they do. But in doing so, we lost control over the content a bit. With actors, we can create a character synopsis that they could base their presentation on. They were never scripted, but they were grounded in a character synopsis. We also could stop the recording and re-record it or record it again if it didn't go well. With volunteers, we lost that control. So in order to increase the odds of getting a good session, we began recording multiple sessions. So for every DVD title we produced, we would record anywhere from 2 to 4 psychotherapy sessions. We put them in the vault, and from the beginning we thought, okay, we could create some kind of a database of psychotherapy transcripts maybe, or maybe case descriptions, something like that. But then around 2008, 2009, with the advent of more widespread broadband video, or rather broadband internet, as well as the uptick in streaming video, it became obvious we need to set our bar higher, so we began planning this streaming video database. We launched Psychotherapy in 2011. There were other competitors products out there at the time when we launched, but ours was quite different from those. Psychotherapy has, at this point, started out with, I think, 200 hours of therapy. It's up to 370 hours of psychotherapy at this point. Unlike the other products on the market, ours is just all psychotherapy. Others feature interviews with psychotherapists, analysis of psychotherapy, brief videos describing a specific type of intervention. They're sort of a mixed bag. With ours, when you click on a video, you get a full psychotherapy session. So it's quite a different type of product, and we've heard feedback over the years that people appreciate that, because within the context of an academic or educational environment, a professor doesn't want to have some other expert on the screen talking to their students. They want to present sort of core material and explain it for themselves in the way they want to explain it. So just to give you a sense of what the psychotherapy interface looks like, this is the video player page. You can see the video player screen there, and on the right is the transcript, which scrolls in time with the video. It's completely searchable, and it is synchronized with the video. So when you go to a certain point in the video, you will go to that point in the transcript and vice versa. There's also a clip making and playlist making feature. Makes it a very educational, or rather useful educational tool. So in addition to psychotherapy, we have other streaming products now. We have smaller collections of videos. There's sort of subsets of psychotherapy, which are more focused on specific types of psychotherapy. So they could be marketed to clinics that train in specific things like couples therapy or substance abuse counseling, that kind of thing. We also have smaller, single title streaming now. We only in the last couple of years started doing this. Our titles that were formerly on DVD are now available individually for purchase on streaming video. So just to step back a little bit to the question of how we have made video a scholarly publication. Video is not often thought of as a scholarly product. When you think of scholarly publishing, you think of journals, books, print media, basically. In order to increase the scholarly value of our videos, we have very much linked them to our book publishing program. Although the videos themselves are not peer-reviewed, we do try always to strive to have people who have been published in peer-reviewed journals and in our books, which are peer-reviewed. And the approaches we feature are almost always evidence-based, or if they're not, they're by therapists who are very highly regarded by their peers. We also, in addition, add layers of information to our videos, in addition to just the demonstration of psychotherapy. On the DVDs, at least, we do feature interviews and analysis of the psychotherapy demonstrations. On psychotherapy itself, our database, we have enriched those videos with metadata, not only at the title level, but we hired people that know about psychotherapy to watch every single one of the videos and code them for the material that's in there. So not only are they searchable by the approach or by the therapist's demographics or client demographics, you can search them by specific techniques in psychotherapy, which is not something that necessarily comes up in the transcript unless you're a cognitive behavioral therapist and tell the client exactly what technique you're using. Sorry, wrong audience. That's more of a psychology joke. You know, the psychotherapy techniques are just kind of something that happen. You need to know what they look like in order to identify them, and we hired those people to do that. In addition, we also pair the videos with our books extensively. Not only are the therapists in the videos often published APA authors, we market and create video products and books that are paired and act as complements to each other. In addition, psychotherapy, we have 2 books that can be used with psychotherapy, and they were created in order to basically increase engagement with psychotherapy, because one thing we found is that people were using it as sort of the YouTube of psychotherapy. They're going and watching a session and not really using the clip making or playlists. So we created featured playlists that kind of hone in on specific points in the videos. So there will be a clip that shows a specific technique within a session, and we create whole playlists that just show these specific techniques. So there are these ready-made ways that faculty can go and use psychotherapy and use it to train their students. So the video program has been received well. We've because we got in early in psychotherapy video specifically, we've really had an influence on how psychotherapy training and teaching has been done over the past 25 years. Most psychologists are aware of our series, and we also have found that the books and the videos, when they are created and marketed together, they do get used that way. We see an uptick in specific books when they're used in courses, because oftentimes, even though we don't sell that many videos, I should reveal, or can reveal, typically a university will buy one copy. What happens is, if it's used for a course and there's a book that is associated with that video, we end up selling a lot of books associated with the video. So customer response to psychotherapy has been good. It's used extensively in many ways. It was a Choice Magazine Outstanding Academic Title winner soon after it was launched. It's used not only in teaching and training, but also in research. Because it's organized and so extensively tagged with metadata, it's really handy for research, and psychotherapy researchers have used it to just find specific videos on specific things, whatever they do in research. It's also used in personal continuing education.
Can you wrap 3 minutes?
Oh, sure. Okay, briefly, challenges. Obviously, competition with other publishers, as well as competition with free videos. Psychologists have continued to make their own videos, and they, since the 30s have been doing it, they still do it. They put it up on YouTube. The nice thing about what we do is our challengers, other publishers, they are not the APA. They don't have the authority. They don't have the access to experts that we have. And people that are producing free videos, they don't have access to the resources to produce videos with good sound and lighting, which are very important. The other challenge is keeping up with changing technology, and that's specifically for our online products. There are, as you imagine, many challenges to that. So, our future in video, we see continued growth and interest in psychology videos. And in all academic fields, I think social psychology, or rather social sciences, are among the most wide users of video, and I think it's very specifically for psychology. It is a very high use of video. Anyway, I'm losing my ability to formulate sentences as I speed up here. We'll probably be expanding, actually no, we'll be expanding to other topics in video, and we are maintaining our online products and continue to listen to customer needs and meet them with new features. So a little humble advice, and these are very simple bits of things I picked up. You probably could guess these things. Play to your strength as a scholarly publisher. If you are getting into video, you have access to experts. You are an authority in whatever field you are in. Remember that. Remember that the medium has specific strengths. It's tempting just to throw a camera in front of someone lecturing. It's a great use of video. It allows people to see the person presenting on what they know, but it also gets kind of stale. Throw in some graphics. Also, you could do what we do and just have demonstrations. Put demonstrations of what people do on video. And then the last bit of advice, find good partners. Most scholarly publishers don't have an in-house technological team. There are great third-party people you can work with to produce streaming videos and other types of online products. And video itself, find a good studio. So anyway, that is all I have. Thank you very much.